Hi,
Hello.
I'm Brad,
And I'm Kelsey.
and we're BK Book Club.
Whoop whoop.
Gentle cheers.
I wanted to hold it this way instead with the handle because the handle you just see the back of the head.
Well, welcome to episode 13.
I couldn't remember either.
We're episode 13, and this is going to be chapters 58 through 82 of A Court of Mist and Ruin. Right? That's the book that we're on? Yeah. Bear with us. We took like a week and a half break.
Well, last week was the election.
Yeah.
And we stupidly scheduled for the day after.
The day after, yeah.
Neither of us were really feeling in the spirits.
No. And that was the concern with tonight too, is that I was like, ooh, I'm gonna need coffee because I could feel myself getting tired. So I'm like, I need to have at least a little bit of energy.
We made some lattes.
And they're delicious.
Yeah.
What'd you make us for dinner?
I made pork loin and a Parmesan garlic thyme risotto with some Parmesan asparagus.
It was delicious.
It's really yummy. It was just from
That was not me.
It was just.
Oh, it was my watch turn.
I was like, I'm looking at my phone.
I'm like, my phone's right here, so it's not
me.
I'm like, it's your house. Oh,
Anywho.
I forgot my watch was dead, so I plugged it in.
Oh, there you go.
It must have just turned back on.
Well, and then I did find my watch, but I don't. Now I already forgot where I put it. So, oh no, I think it's on that thingy over there.
Nice.
Safeway. It was. I forget the brand, but it was already seasoned.
Smart Choice or something like that. It's something like that. Simple Choice, I think.
I don't know if it was like Safeway brand.
Oh, okay.
It was just
you
at
got
Safeway.
It at Safeway. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down now. Yeah.
But yeah, it was super easy. The risotto I made in the Instant Pot, so again, super easy. Asparagus.
She
in the air
cheated
fryer.
to make risotto.
Was it yummy?
It was delicious. I'm just saying it's cheating.
It's not cheating. It's using the resources that I have. You think my ADHD ass
45 minutes out of 10
could sit there?
This is fine, guys. Everything's fine.
Like, you really think I could do that?
Listen, I don't know. Maybe.
No.
We're not going to really do the whole, like, how was your week thing just because there's nothing great to report. I got laid off and then the election, and it's just been, I mean, one great thing did happen. Mari came in from Florida, which was fun. It was very nice to have him around.
It was really nice to meet him, too.
It was funny, too, because I had said to him on Friday night, I was like, I'm so glad you're here because I kind of feel like I'm recharging. Like, he's like that person for me.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was very nice to have him. I am currently dog sitting again, which I feel like I'm doing every episode.
This weekend is such a shock to our audience.
It's really funny too because I told Cullen, I'm like, I'm just gonna start leaving stuff at your place. It was like
literally just end me out a drawer.
I was like, it doesn't really matter that I'm like, if I needed something too, it's only 20 minutes from my house, so I'm like, it's not a big deal.
It's not like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, how about we just get right into it?
I'm about it.
So, depending on how you watch this, we are actually recording 2 episodes today because we ended up
see us in the same outfits.
Yep. And we won't talk about food in the next episode because there's no point to. But
make us some popcorn.
Oh, there we go. That could be lovely. We did finish all of A Court of Wings and Ruin, and then we actually switched gears and read the entirety of A Court of
Frost and Starlight,
which we'll get into that when we get into that episode. It was just an interesting read to have because I don't feel like I've ever read anything quite like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was so quick to breeze through.
Yeah, my friend Mackenzie says that it's the Christmas special of the ACOWAR.
Which is
she
totally
said we were festive. I'm like, it just happened to be that way.
It worked out really well because it's by the time that'll go out, it'll be right between Thanksgiving and
Christmas.
Wow,
look at that. We've got
you can barely see them, but we have Christmas decorations and we have
Christmas
festive mugs. I
love
excited.
Christmas time.
We're also not drinking tonight because we've chose to do edibles again. Actually, speaking of which, if you could do me a favor,
Yeah.
my purse bag, man bag over there,
Yeah.
my edibles are in there, and I need to take half of one at least.
I can't find where I put mine. It might be in my... But I don't want to go out there.
Do you want one there?
Sure.
I'm gonna eat the other half of the one that I. Oh, unless I already ate it.
Unless you don't have that many left, then I can just
Oh,
make
no,
my
I have-
pen. Oh. Look at you!
Well, I actually have eaten all of them.
I'm so proud of you.
I know, so I literally have switched to this.
I love it.
I'm only gonna eat half though, just because I have to drive later and I don't want to have to worry about it. So, I found a brand that helps if I have a mic, huh?
Yeah.
So I found a brand that I really like, which is from Gron, and they are no, ma'am. They are
Hey.
the sugar coated pearls. This one is blueberry lemonade. It is THC, CBG, and CBD. But it's a daytime sativa. I really like it. But my favorite one is from the same brand, but they do a Tangelo one, and it's got CBC
I've had
in
that
it.
brand too, and I don't remember what flavor though.
This one has CBC in it, and the CBC is supposed to make the feeling of being high. Like, it gives it more of a euphoric kind of appeal. I usually take those when I'm home doing nothing,
I love it.
because it's just nice to do that.
I'm a big
Marijuana fan,
yeah.
which is fine. Totally
My manager the other day, we were like just talking, and I don't know how we came across like weed, but he said something. He's like, "Yeah, I smoke a lot," and then he's like, "Yeah, me and my wife go through like 6 grams a week." I was like, "Oh,
fine. You're like, that's a day.
that's interesting. That's interesting for sure."
That's super
And he's
interesting.
like, "Is that low?" I'm like, I mean, not for everybody. For some
That was the thing. The
people.
guy so I went to Nectar to grab these, which is a brand. It's a
Yeah.
chain of.
I like Nectar.
We have Nectar. We have Electric Lettuce. Those are the two that I like. But we also have a lot of like mom and pop shops that do
I'm
it
up
too.
in Washington, so mine is Main Street that I go to. But when I lived down there, I actually went to Green Planet a lot because they took cards.
Depending on which one. The Electric Lettuce down by my house, that's like between my house and the Fred Meyer, not that you have any idea of where I'm talking about. If you drove past Happy Valley Station instead of like taking a right.
Okay, actually, I do know what you're talking
Okay,
about. You have to remember that I grew up.
After the Taco Bell,
Over
there's
there.
an Electric Lettuce like tucked in the back. They take cards, which I'm like, thank God. But anyway, now that we've kind of gone off on our first tangent, first of many, I'm sure, because we haven't had a sit-down conversation like this in a while anyway.
I know.
Because between the election and people coming in and out of town and birthday parties and all that jazz, we just haven't had a chance, just you and I, to chat.
Well, and at the birthday, we were sitting on the
opposite ends of the table. I know,
which
you
is
said-
crazy.
you sat
well,
next
because
to
there was only
Brandon,
2
too. I
seats,
know, it
and I
was
wasn't
so
gonna have
weird.
you and Mari not sit by each other.
No, it's fine.
I mean, I had fun because I was like,
yeah.
it's not like
Yeah, it was good too because like I moved my chair so that I could see everybody, and like
that's why I like round tables.
same. I don't like, especially when it's an intimate setting like that where you're trying to like have a meal for somebody.
Yeah.
Like them being in the middle, it's always difficult because you're leaning over other people to talk, and I hate that. But yeah, so let's get into it. A Court of Wings and Ruins, chapter 58.
Yep.
Feyre speaks with the Suriel, who tells her Nesta can locate the cauldron, which will help her locate the Hybern forces. He also tells her Amryn can find the key to stopping Hybern on the second and last page of the book. He gives a hint that nothing can break Feyre unless she chooses to let it, and would probably have told her more had fucking Ianthe not shown up. And shot the Suriel with an ash arrow. So one of these two farted,
sad.
First of all.
Oh,
Secondly,
Bailey.
My note says fucking Ianthe.
Oh, Bailey, yeah, that was Bailey.
I also think that Feyre can look in the mirror and use the bone carver.
Yep. I said, I'm telling you, she has to get.
The hint of only you can decide what breaks you curse breaker, only you. I would think that would be enough to make me go get the damn mirror, especially after Ianthe shows up. Kill that bitch with the carver and Bryaxis. wanted to mention in the last episode, we talked about how it may not be the same cereal each time, but they
Oh.
specifically talk about how she gave this one a shawl and he switched it out. So it has to be the same
I
one.
put that in my notes.
Okay.
I said, "Oh, you were right. It is the same."
I was like, I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
So for my 58, I said, I'm telling you, she was going to look in the mirror because
Yep.
it just shows you your soul. So as long as you're good with who you are as a person, you're fine. And she's she's been very comfortable with who she is.
I make note of this in another. I think I make note of it in the next, either later in this episode or in the next episode. I talk about this, but Sarah J. Maas does a really good job for like undertones.
Yeah.
She's really good at putting undertones in there. What I'm thinking of later is not about that kind of undertones, but I think that she does a really good job of like this, especially the last two books, not Frost and Starlight, but this one and the one before it.
Mhm.
She did a really, really good job about talking about the like mental health, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think that she does a really good job of like putting that in there in some way, shape, or form. And I think it translates well, in my opinion.
I mean, I know we're not talking about it, but even in the next one,
Mhm.
there's a lot of it too. I have 3 more notes, by the way.
Keep going. I was just going off on a
Yeah,
tangent.
no,
like
but
we
I was
normally do.
just letting you know.
Yeah, so I don't cut you off and be like, and moving on, and you're gonna be like, I've got 2 more.
She better fucking die. That's for Ianthe.
Oh, I was so mad when she showed up.
And then I said, I fucking knew it was going to be the Spring Court that was lying. Like,
Yep.
obviously, but I hate them.
Yep,
Would you have looked in the mirror?
absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely.
No, but like you as you are, not you
Yeah.
as Feyre.
No, me as Bradley Dion, I would totally 100% do it.
Me too, because I feel like I know my flaws.
Exactly.
I know what's wrong with me.
You know what it is too? It's really funny. I had this conversation earlier this week about how people like to talk to. I find it fascinating when people who don't put in the work on themselves
Mm-hmm.
or don't go to therapy or don't do anything or take accountability for their actions or any of the things that they do are always the first people to start telling people who do how they're wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, I 100% would look in the mirror because if it's the biggest thing you have to worry about is overcoming yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what therapy is. So therapy is literally the Ouroboros mirror. It's like, do you see what you did there? That's not okay. Am I wrong?
You are not.
Do you have another note?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, so 59, I like doing the breakdown the way that I'm doing it, where I'm like, I literally go through the book again and I reread the chapters and just give myself quick synopsises because I feel like ChatGPT was failing us for a while there. But the problem is some of these
Bradley
chapters...
really is the brains of this operation. If you haven't been able to tell, I really just show up. Or be home.
or she cooks. So, I mean, either way. She's getting good, though. She's been helping me set up now, too, which is very nice. What was it? Oh, the thing that bothers me, though, is that she creates such short chapters sometimes that I'm like, this is a waste for me even to make a note on it.
Yeah.
But, like, for 59, Feyre confronts Ianthe, giving the cereal time to escape. She makes for the Weaver's house, hoping to trap Ianthe and the Hybern guards inside with her. I
just said I really feel like she's about to ask all the siblings to fight against Hybern because
I love Feyre's thinking of using all the monsters that roam the land to aid her in the war. That's literally what I had in there too. Do you have any more notes for that one? Okay, so 60. Feyre traps Ianthe and the Hybern soldiers in the Weaver's house. She then returns to the cereal who lays dying, wishing to die. He tells Feyre he knew about the tracking cloak Ianthe used on him and came anyway because Feyre was kind, which... he reminds her of his first warning to stay with the High Lords, meaning Rhys, and that everything is still not righted yet.
Yeah.
And I said, I wonder if the cereals are created from other Fae in some way, shape, or form, like trapped in some sense. Like I didn't understand. Like I'm curious if like you become a Fae. I mean, if you become like a cereal, if you do X, Y, and Z, you know what I mean?
Oh, like how cereals. Yeah, that's
like how are
interesting.
cereals created? Like, are they high Fae that get put in the cauldron and then something happens? Like something along those lines. I don't imagine it's actually that, but I'm just saying, like as a reference, that's something that I would think of.
Interesting.
I'm going to zoom this out a little bit just because I feel like it looks like we're really cramped in the... There we go. That's better.
I have 4 notes.
Go for it.
My first one, ding dong, the bitch is dead.
Much needed, too.
Fucking bye.
Ugh, girl, bye.
Bye.
We're not starting that dance trend. We're not doing it. Do we look like the type of people who would get up and start dancing? I mean, yes, but not right now.
What are you talking about?
I'm like, I'm pretty sure we have.
We definitely danced in this living room.
It's just not on camera.
Oh my goodness.
That was one.
Oh, see, this is where I have, maybe you were right last week when you said that each cereal was different.
Okay.
I loved that they just had a nice little kind moment before they died.
Yeah.
And then, but I totally cried when the cereal died.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's me. I cry.
Oh, don't worry. I cried plenty. And I made note of where I started crying.
Yeah, I cried a lot.
Yeah. This was a good, this was like the Battle of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
This was like the Battle of Hogwarts. Like that good.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And then
but the movie version, not the book version. Because I feel like the movie version is a lot more like emotionally driven.
Well, yeah, because it's more of a battle rather than a duel.
A duel, yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the book, it's just a duel. But anyway.
No, 1,000%.
It's just a duel.
1,000%.
And I love, though, that they did keep it like it's Ginny, Hermione, and Mrs. Weasley that are battling against Bellatrix in the book, which is not what happens in the movie, which is, I still like what they did there, but I wanted that.
There's a lot of different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movie to book things that don't make sense.
Next one.
I'm wearing this shirt. I don't even know if you can tell. I'm like wearing a Hogwarts. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you can tell.
Not when my hair's down.
So I was saying when you did that, you could tell. Calm down. Like, she's missed
one.
me. You want to know how I know she's missed me? She's so sassy. Am I wrong?
Look. I might sometimes show my love in a teasing
Your
manner.
Love hurts. Oh, man. All right.
My last one is just, I think I like Hellion,
yeah. Oh, no, I
mean,
I
and
really
now,
like
obviously,
Hellion, yeah.
We'll get there.
I'm like, what thing are you thinking? I also haven't reread these notes. So, like, most of this, the end of this book, as I'm doing this, I'm like, oh, yeah. Books come and go from my head, which I like, though, because it makes me reread them.
Yeah, that's
like,
nice.
I'd rather that because I don't want to, like, I like having the physical book. Like, I get the appeal of going to the library, but there's something about, like, especially if it's a book I really, really like, I own it.
I just am now a server, so.
Which, 100%. Well, my biggest problem is I'm running into space. I have nowhere to put them. Which I'm like, this book club's going to really fuck me up because I'm going to have nowhere to put them. But, so chapter...
Another good thing about the library.
Yeah. Chapter 61, Hellion brings... Hellion brings Feyre back to the war camp. Cassian has been gravely injured. Rhys and Cassian have a fight, bringing up the way that Rhys sacrificed himself for Amaranthia and how Cassian was doing the same, followed by Mor fighting with Feyre for leaving the battle without telling her where she was going.
Right.
In my notes, I said, we talked about the prophecy that Elaine made about Cassian coming true while Feyre was away, and it basically happened. Thankfully, he didn't die. Because when we were talking about it in the last episode, we were talking about how it would really, like, fuck her up if Cassian dies while she's not there.
Yeah.
What notes do you have for 61?
I have 2 notes, but see, sometimes I just do like half notes and I'm like, I don't remember why I said this.
Yeah.
But I did say I love the bromance, but I don't remember who we were talking about.
It's the bromance between Azriel, Cassian, and Rhysand, because it's like...
I didn't know, because that's also like...
That chapter is primarily when they're all talking, and it ends with Feyre getting into the fight with Mor.
Wonderful. Okay, and then I said... I do not love that Feyre turned it around on Mor.
Yep.
like you did kind of lie by omission, and it's different now that you're their high lady.
Yeah.
You could have apologized and brought the Azrael stuff up later.
I'm like, it's a good thing I have the headset in because I can tweak it, but like when you're like this, there's nothing I can do about that.
I think it's because, you know, my pink microphone I have?
Yeah, we would just sit like this too with those, the fake, like the plastic blow up ones that we use.
My pink one, you have to like be literally like touching your bottom lip for it to hear and for it to like go out. So that's what I'm used to.
As long as this part is facing your mouth, you're good.
Oh, is it because I keep doing that?
You do that and I can't hear shit. But when you do this, it's good. But the thing is you project your voice, and because you're projecting your voice directly into it when it's this close to you. Yeah. I'm going to have you edit once and then we'll talk.
Much my mom when I just said, oopie.
Oh.
And then just said and brought up the Azrael stuff later.
So chapter 62 starts with Amren talking down Feyre after the fight with Mor. Nesta is called to use her connection with the cauldron to help her locate it and the rest of the Hybern forces. The power of the cauldron locks her in fear. Feyre follows her through her mind and pulls her back after seeing the size of the army they're about to face. And after the cauldron was located, after the sisters located the cauldron located the sisters. And once back in the war tent, Feyre shows Rhys what she's seen. Varian drops his facade and makes his move on Amren, which I was like, hot damn.
I literally was like,
I want some beefy, good-looking prince from a summer court to just walk in, ignore everyone else, and just pick me up and make out with me as he carries me out of the tent.
Like, see ya.
I don't even think I would respond to anyone around me either. I'd just be like, okay, it's just you and me, kid. Got it. Sure. Sign me up for that.
Oh,
do you have any notes for 62?
I have 3.
Okay.
When are Nesta and Cassian going to admit their love? I mean, I guess we know they're the whole book, but dear Lord. And then I said, damn, Nesta is going to be happy Feyre can go into mines now.
Right.
And also,
but I wonder if Nesta even knew that in the first place. Like, thinking about it now, did they even know that Feyre could do that?
Yeah, because...
I feel like they had to talk about it at some point.
When they were in the bubble, when Feyre went into Lucian's mind when he was talking to Elaine.
Yep.
And she was like, you can, like, she knew that she could do it.
Yep.
So I think there she was probably just grateful because she wouldn't have come out of that.
Yeah, Feyre went and did what Feyre's been doing, which is protect her stupid sisters.
Yeah. And then I said, yes! Go Varian! Get it, Amren!
Get it. 63 was a short chapter. Nesta and Feyre are woken in the middle of the night to a presence, only to learn that the cauldron came and took Elaine. Interesting that Amren was able to hear the cauldron siren call and she says it specifically. She's like, you were not made. Because someone else was like, I don't hear anything. She's like, you weren't made.
Yep.
And it was just the 3 of them that could hear it. And I'm like, well, Amren made herself though. So I'm like, does that mean that Amren is as powerful as the fucking cauldron?
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, damn. Do you have any notes?
I have one note.
Okay.
I still feel slightly like there's something with Azrael and Elaine. He's always thinking about her and being so kind. Like,
it only gets worse too. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It only gets. I made so many notes about that in the next book.
Same.
I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I told you there's something.
Ugh. Is that the only note that you had?
For this one, yeah.
Okay, 64. Feyre transforms into Ianthe to sneak into the Hybern war camp. She uses other priestess robes as well as one of Az's siphons to disguise herself more. Touching moment between Az and Rhys when they are no longer friends, but are Shadow Singer and High Lord, and it's like that order, like bring them back alive.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is when I started getting weepy. Like, this is when I was like, ooh, this is gonna be emotional.
Yeah.
I could feel it coming. Oh man, what notes do you have?
I have 2.
Okay.
I just said, again, I'm telling you there's something because he's like real protective.
Yeah.
And then I said, but what if he does die? I just kept, what if he does die? And then I just said, fuck, this makes me so nervous.
Yeah.
Because
infiltrating the Hybern war camp and knowing how big the Legion was, and then they're just literally just walking in.
And like hoping that nobody's heard of her.
hope and a prayer.
Like literally. But he literally was like the first one, like, I'll go get her. I'm going to get her.
Yeah.
That's it. First one to notice that she wasn't there. First one to notice, to be like, I'm going.
Craziness.
Something.
65, Feyre and Az infiltrate the Hybern war camp. They disguise works, except for with Jurian, who is still on Feyre's side, telling her where Elaine is being held and how to escape. Feyre strikes a deal to get both Elaine and the human girl being tortured out. Both Feyre and Az are badly injured, even with the distraction. And when the king of Hybern joins the hunt, Tamlin, of all people, comes in hot to give Feyre and I was like, did I really write that? Comes in hot to give Feyre and Az a chance to leave. When they make it back to the war camp, the sisters close out the chapter in the same bed, making sure they're safe with each other, which I was like,
that's cute.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's fine.
It's fine.
Everything's fine. Do you have any notes? I don't have any notes for 65.
4.
Go for it.
So I said, I know he's crazy, but I do kind of like Jurian.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Crazy. Rightfully so.
To be fair, crazy matches crazy. So. We're there. It's fine.
And then I said, damn. I mean, at least Tamlin did something. I guess he did actually love her even after all this, but like still, he sucks. Yeah. And then for the however many time, and again, there's something with Az and Elaine. But what about more? Because it's
this is before that chapter. That's the next chapter, actually.
Yep. Is it going to be fucking Jurian, or will somehow Lucian become her mate? Because I'm just trying to figure it.
Yeah.
At that point, I was just trying to figure out.
Yeah. So,
and then I said, finally, a good sister moment.
Yeah, I know. That was the thing. Like, especially reading the next book, I was so mad. Like, and we'll get into that in the next episode. But I was just there. I was so mad. Ugh. Chapter 66. The Winter Court arrives at the war camp. Feyre and Mork reconnect. We find out the reason that Mor hasn't been romantically involved with Az is because she's a lesbian.
Well,
she prefers
will
women.
Only fall in love with women.
We learn about her love with Andromache, a female human queen. Do you have any notes for 66?
Yes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You had a lot to say about someone coming out.
I think there's only one about her, but I said, yes, more, get it. And then, so now my tangent is, so now that gives me even more of a reason for Az and Elaine. Maybe Lucian dies or can't handle the bond because we haven't mentioned this in the recaps. But maybe because I said, or can't handle the bond because of Hellion being his dad. It was in the, I think, episode 12 that we learned that because it was when they met before Hybern attacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because that's when Nesta throws up on the floor inside of the.
So that's when I was like, but that was So maybe he can't handle he goes off on a thing. Anyways, that's just was my thoughts. And then I said, I feel so bad. So maybe it was a lot about Mor.
Look at me.
I feel so bad for Mor.
It's like I'm foreshadowing or something. Elaine who? Elaine who?
I feel so bad for Mor to keep that part of you a secret from your friends that are family, especially because she knows they wouldn't care. But like her stupid family is the reason she doesn't want
PTSD
even more.
Is what
and then I get why she's not telling people, but I do feel like she could have at least told Azriel. Like he would not have told anyone.
Yeah.
And he's just been sad for 500 years. But again, why I think something's going on with him and Elaine. And then I said Rizan's speech. Ugh. And then fuck yes, Amren.
Fuck yes, Amren.
That's what I have it in there.
Oh, it's probably because of chapter 67. Amren has discovered a way to stop the Hybern enemy army, and the only way to make it work is to head for him straight on in the human territory before they embark on that journey. Feyre heads under the mountain to get the Ouroboros.
Oh, I do think she just comes in and is
she's like, I figured it out.
Yeah. So for 67, I just have, I know oh, I knew she was going to face it, and she knows herself well enough to not go mad. Because think about it, you're going to see the worst things about you, and if you really know who you are, it won't drive you mad. It's
Yep.
only the people who can't accept their own faults.
Yep.
But boom.
68 is a short one. I just put Feyre was able to recruit both the Bone Carver and the Ouroboros. Because she got it, and then she brought it to the Bone Carver and was like, "You're coming with me, bro."
Yep. My first, I have 2 notes. The Beast, it's a mixture of Tamlin and Rhys.
I can see that. Her, like, her projection
She's like,
of herself.
Scales and fur and this and that. I'm like, oh my God, it's literally a mix of their two beast forms. Yeah.
Which it makes me wonder if she's ever going to turn into it.
Hopefully.
Right? I'm like, let it go, girl.
Get it, girl.
Get it, girl. Get it.
And then I would be kind of pissed though, because now you kind of hate someone that looks exactly like your future kid. It's fucked up. Okay.
Chapter 69, with the battle about to begin, the final goodbyes are given, the words of encouragement from Rhys to his friends and his allies. Once on the battlefield, Feyre gives Rhys his mating bond gift, the gift of Bryaxis and the Bone Carver, only for Rhys to one-up her with the Weaver. And this is where I started crying. Chapter 69 is exactly where I started crying because Rhys was being so sweet. And I was just like, oh my God, everyone's about to die.
And I said, again, Rhys Sand's speech was so good, I cried.
Yeah.
Also, Amryn is definitely staying. That was my prediction. And then I have Azriel loves her, and I think this is when he gave her truth teller. And was like, blah, blah. I was like, you love her.
Which goes back to one of the conversations that we previously had, which is, can you be mated to more than one person?
Well,
like the bond has obviously not clicked, but
yeah. I made a note for the next book about something like that, so
we'll get back to that.
We're just like giving you little tastes,
just little sprinkles of what's about to come next. Is that all you had for 69?
No, I just had fuck. I did think the Weaver was going to be in the war, but I thought it was going to be Feyre that got her to do it. But damn, they really are perfect for each other because they got each other
a monsters. Yeah. In chapter 70, the Autumn Court and the human armies join the battle as the 3 immortals start decimating forces. The king uses the cauldron on the forces that are decimating his, killing most of the Illyrian troops. Nesta, being connected to it, warns Cassian to stop him from being killed, only for Feyre to watch the Bone Carver turn to dust under the power of the cauldron. Which I did feel kind of bad. Like when the Bone Carver died.
Oh, me too.
I felt bad.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
70, that's also Tamlin came in.
Yeah, that's the autumn.
Because I said, all right. Oh, I didn't hear the spring part. I was like, all right, Tamlin does get another point.
I guess.
I just said, bro, fuck the king.
I know. When he used the cauldron, I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? And then I said, even though it really sucks because we need the Carver, I feel like he was ready to die.
Of course, 100%.
Yeah.
As soon as as soon as she brought the Ouroboros to him, he was like, okay, I'll go with you. She's like, wait, you don't need it? She's like, no, I just want to make sure you're worthy.
Worth it, yeah.
And I think it's in that moment he was like, because I'm not coming back from this.
I ain't coming back. He's like, I don't care to. I don't want to. Let me die.
He was like, oh, is my sister going to be there? Have her roll up. I don't give a fuck.
I'll say, what up?
Yeah, right.
What up, fam?
Yeah, what up, sis? Oh, my God. Chapter 71, with the Hybern fleet making their way onto land and the power of the cauldron warming back up, all seems lost until Draken and Miriam's fleets join them, as well as the Firebird Queen, and an armada led by none other than Feyre's father, who has been MIA. As soon as Draken was like, it wasn't Lucian that came and got us, I was like, I had a feeling. I was like, I know who it's gonna be.
I literally had forgotten about the father, so.
And I started sobbing. Sobbing.
Bawling.
I had to take so many breaks reading this because I was like, I'm crying way too much.
My tear would drop on the page. I was like, bye.
so much. I was like, okay, we need to take a step back. Go get some water, like deep breaths. Oh, man.
I have 2 notes.
Go for it.
I was wondering where Lucian, Miriam, and Draken were. Like, they wouldn't mention them and have them not be in the fight. Like, bitches, where you at?
Hello, come through.
And then I said, well, we were wrong about the dad for sure.
Wrong all along. Well.
I said, whoops. Sorry, Pops.
Sorry, Dad. Sorry about you. Oh, man. In chapter 72, Nesta comes up with the plan to draw the king away from the cauldron by drawing its power to her and to use herself as bait. Cassian goes with her to protect her, both knowing full well this could be the last time they see their friends. Feyre shrouds both her and Amren in an invisibility cloak and head to where the king is holding the cauldron. I don't have any notes.
I did just put, because we did, obviously, like, we know that the next book is about Cassian and Nesta. Bailey, back up, please.
It's just the, like...
staring into your
the
soul.
Stare down. I'm like, I get it. You're right there.
But I said, I'm glad we know that Cassian and Nestor survived. Like, I know that it was a spoiler. And I guess we should have said spoiler like the whole time we've been saying that it's Cassian and Nestor's book. But I just now had it click.
I'm not worried about it.
Sorry.
These books came out like
exactly
years ago, so
sorry everyone. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just glad that we knew they survived because I could have a little bit less anxiety.
You could breathe through it.
Yeah.
In chapter 73, the king of Hybern kills Striga by snapping her neck and feeding her to his wild dogs, which was very sad.
Very sad.
Nesta draws the power of the cauldron to her as well as the king. When Feyre and Amren make it to the cauldron, we learn that Amren didn't have a trap for the king, but a trap for Feyre instead. Any notes?
I said, what? No, Amren can't be fucking her over. Like, I was like, that can't be true.
And that's like how they end the chapter, too.
Literally, it was just and there. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm sorry, what's happening?
I don't understand.
I'm not quite sure I know what's going on right now. Is that all you have?
Yeah, that was it.
So chapter 74, while Feyre is connected to the cauldron, she can see everything that is happening. Rhys and Hellion transform into their monster forms. Nesta begins to harness the power of the cauldron, ready to use it on the king, only for the king to show up with her father as bait. When the king kills her father and continues to attack Cassian, Nesta unleashes the power on the king, only for it to miss and hit most of his army instead. When the king has her cornered and she shields Cassian, Elaine saves the day, driving Truth Teller through the king's neck. Which, when that happened, I was like, fuck yeah.
Me too.
Because I was like, it's not going to be... At first, I thought perhaps it was going to be like Lucian, maybe. But I was like, as soon as it said Truth Teller, I was like, fuck yeah, Elaine.
I said, holy fucking shit, go Elaine. And with Truth Teller, so great.
So good.
And then I just had, is Amren trying to leave, or is that what the book said to do?
Right.
I would just get, what is going on?
It's very end game, like, just one.
Just one.
Yeah. Is that all you had for 74? Okay, 75. With the king gagging, pulling on Truth Teller through his throat, Jesus Christ. Nesta severs his head. When the cauldron coiled back into itself, Feyre can confront Amren. Amren knew Feyre would be strong enough to handle coming into contact directly with the cauldron. The Suriel told Amren where to find the unbinding spell for her. She convinces Feyre to unleash her on the battle. Amren jumps into the cauldron to come out as a being of light, decimating all of Hybern's armada and the land armies to disappear into the ether.
I just have one note.
Go for it.
Maybe she can go back into her mortal body somehow.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because she, like, created that body, too. So, like, the fact that she had to bind herself, like, the thing that bound her was herself.
Yeah. It's insane, but I was like, damn,
crazy.
Girl, go.
Yeah. Chapter 76, the cauldron breaks into 3 pieces after Amren is unbound. The remaining matter inside it created a void. I don't know why have is in there. The remaining matter inside it created a void that threatens to destroy the world, since it was what created the world. Rhys convinced Feyre that she can reconstruct the cauldron. Combining both his and her power, they successfully in putting the cauldron back together. Oh my God.
Back together, but it
They're,
took Reese's
they
life
are
in order
successful
to be
in
successful.
putting the cauldron back together, but it took Reese's life in order to be successful. As soon as he said, I love you for the second time, I knew it.
I knew it. I was like, fuck.
He's being too calm right now.
Yeah, but I just put, bro, what the fuck? No, somebody has to bring him back.
Yeah. I
was like, it was the just calmness of it all. Like, he knows he's dying. He knows that he's dead.
He was
God.
He was so defeated. He's like,
and they kept saying like all the time, like he will give everything.
Didn't someone say
everything?
Yeah, didn't someone say it was going to take everything he had?
Yeah.
Like I think the bone carver might have said it to him at some point.
Yeah.
Like
maybe.
It'll take everything that you have.
Ugh.
Yeah. Chapter 77, with the realization of what happened, Feyre spirals. She's hysterical as she convinces the other High Lords to bring him back. Even Tamlin gives his kernel of power to Rhys to bring him back. In the aftermath, Rhys returns and tells them that he brought Amryn with him. Woo! Yay! He's like, can someone please get her out of the cauldron? She's getting damp.
Like, somebody help her.
She's getting soggy.
I have 2.
Go for it.
I knew they had to bring him back, but damn, I still cried.
Of course.
And maybe I don't hate Tamlin anymore, but he still sucks.
He still sucks.
And then thank goodness Amryn is back.
I know.
Because I loved her.
Chapter 78. Once the team is reunited, we get connected with the outside help. Lucian rejoins the team, explaining where he has been, and Feyre finally meets Miriam.
I have 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. ... Tamlin's girl and bestie went to the night court. And then I still think the person who has Vasa under a curse is the 3rd sibling.
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
In chapter 79, Feyre meets and hears the story of Miriam and Draken, as well as how they managed around Jurian, like how they managed being around him. From there, she convinces them to take and hide the cauldron. Then she calls a meeting with the representatives from the courts as well as the human territories to renegotiate the treaties.
I don't have anything for 79.
Okay. 80 through 82, because they were very, very short chapters.
I only have one thing for 80.
So the treaty discussion starts, but are not the best nor finished. The team makes their way back to the townhouse where they finally settle into the fact that the war is over with Hybern and how it's time to focus on change and the threat of the queens on the mainland. And that's how A Court of Mist and Ruin ends. What are your notes?
I literally just said we still haven't heard anything about the second part of the prophecy or whatever.
No. The prophecy, or you mean
the one where Alice was like...
And I'm wondering if that was just specific to Tamlin in some way, shape, or form.
I still want to know what it is.
Oh no, I agree. I'm actually kind of curious if Alice is going to make a reappearance at some point.
If Alice is?
Yeah.
I love that. I like her.
Okay. Is that it that you have for Court of Mist and Fury?
Yeah. Sure is.
So the next episode that we will be recording in 5 minutes.
Wearing these same exact clothes.
We are going to read the entirety of
A Court of Frost and Starlight.
Yeah. And so if you haven't read it yet, feel free to give it a read and then watch the next episode. With that, I'm Brad.
And I'm Kelsey.
And we're BK Book Club.
Whoop whoop. Like the dogs are excited too.